I stepped down the stairs and saw them standing in the street, with what I assumed was his car parked nearby. I walked closer. She had her back turned to me, and it wasn't until Anthony turned around and stared directly at me that she noticed my presence. When her gaze finally met mine, she frowned, her lips tightening in annoyance. "Mr. Morgan," she said, forcing herself to sound calm. "Sorry to interrupt. Miss Brown, I have something to talk to you about." "Is it urgent?" she asked through gritted teeth. "Let's just say it's a matter of life and death," I replied with a strained smile, hoping she'd catch the threat hidden in my words. "Fine," she said, turning her attention back to him. "Can we pick this up later?" "Of course," he replied, flashing her a grin that made every muscle in my body tense up as he took another step closer to her. He kissed her cheek, then stepped back and got into the car. I clenched my fists tightly, unsure of what I'd have done if he'd kissed her lips instead. As the car pulled away, she turned to me, her eyes flashing with anger. If she thought she had the right to be angry, what was I supposed to think? The anger she felt didn't even begin to compare to what was boiling inside me. "What do you want?" she asked through gritted teeth, crossing her arms over her chest in her usual combative stance. "What do I want?" A tense laugh escaped my lips. I took a deep breath, stepped closer, grabbed her wrist, and pulled her toward my car. "What the hell are you doing?" She tried to break free, but I wouldn't let her go, forcing her to keep walking. "Stop. Are you crazy?" "We need to talk," I said, grinding my teeth together. "There's nothing to talk about." "Oh, we'll definitely have something to talk about." "No way." As we approached my car, I opened the back door. "Get in," I said, watching her stunned expression. I completely lost control, entirely driven by anger. "No way. Let me go." "What do you think you're doing? Just get in already," I snapped. "You don't have any right to tell me what to do," she said, bringing me back to my senses just a little. Damn it, she was right, I'd acted like a caveman. Damn it, that wasn't like me, but she'd pushed me to do it. Like some animal. I let go of her hand, then slammed the door shut, took a deep breath, and tried to calm myself down. "I'm so sorry." "You've got to be kidding me," she replied, looking at me with confusion and shock. "Don't act like this isn't your fault too." "My fault? You promised to bring him along, just so you could spend the whole evening provoking me. Oh my God. Do you really think I'd do all this just because of you? You arrogant bastard. There's no way you could actually be interested in him. Did you even hear yourself? On what basis do you think you have the right to say that?" I know I have no right to act like a jealous lunatic, and I certainly have no right to stop her from being with other people. Even after sleeping together twice, I still shouldn't have done this, but I can't help myself. I can't keep my cool, because just thinking about another man touching her is enough to drive me crazy. She's mine. I need to touch her. This need is consuming me, driving me completely out of my mind. I wrap my arms around her waist, pulling us closer together. I turn around, pinning her against my car, pressing her breasts against my chest, my lips meeting hers. I poured all my anger into that kiss, and I could feel her doing the same, pulling at my hair. Her tongue responded to mine, and the kiss grew urgent and passionate. My hands roamed over her body, tracing every curve beneath my fingertips. At that moment, I wanted nothing more than to bury myself completely in her. I reached for the car door, using my free hand to fumble for the handle. When she realized I was about to open the door, our eyes met. "Stop talking," she said, her breath coming in short gasps. "I can't do this anymore," I admitted. "I'm not going to do it again." She pushed my hand away. "Ellie, no way. Please," she begged. I pressed my forehead against hers, gazing into her eyes, cupping her face with both hands. She was forcing me to beg her, and if she'd let me keep touching her, I'd have begged her until the very end. I wouldn't dare. "It's not good for me," she said, her painful gaze locked onto mine. "We both know that's how it is. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what's going on between us. I don't want this to be like this. That's just a lie. Your body is begging me. Well, that doesn't matter. I'm just not cut out for this. I'm not going to become your plaything. She pushed my hand away from her face and tried to push my body back, pressing against my chest, but I wouldn't let her. I placed my hands on either side of her head, pinning her body against the car. You know he'd never make you feel this way. You're wrong. Unlike you, he can give me so much more than just sex. No, I shook my head. It's not who we are. It's just, let's just keep enjoying this, I said, hoping to convince her that this was exactly what she needed. She just needed me. What are you talking about? She asked, frowning in confusion. I just want to keep enjoying what we have. I don't believe a word of it. Are you seriously saying you just want to keep having sex with me? We don't need to complicate things, she said. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and when she opened them again, her eyes blazed with fury. Stay away from me, she hissed through clenched teeth. Ellie, I said stay away, she roared. I took a step back, not wanting to push her any further. Listen to me. I'll never buy into your bullshit, so please don't come looking for me again. As she spoke, she clenched her fists tightly. I wanted to say something, anything, to persuade her, but I couldn't find the right words. I can't meet her needs. Did you hear what I just said? She asked, her voice firm. Say something, anything, so I'll know you've understood. I nodded, acknowledging that no matter what I did, I couldn't change her mind. Then, she turned her back to me and started walking toward the house, her high heels clicking loudly on the sidewalk as she stomped away.
I was the last one to board the flight, and the gate agent almost wouldn't let me through, telling me that the last boarding call had been made more than 10 minutes earlier. I had to beg her to let me onto the plane. I might even have resorted to a tiny white lie, claiming that my grandfather was gravely ill and that this could be my only chance to see him. Panting, I dragged my luggage down the aisle, searching for my seat. As I passed through first class, I spotted several familiar faces. Anna waved at me from the seat next to Will, and I also noticed Zara and Jack sitting a little further ahead. When I finally found my own seat, my whole body went stiff, and a wave of irritation washed over me. No way, that can't be right. Are you kidding me? I muttered under my breath, managing to catch his attention while desperately trying to suppress the fluttering in my chest. He was dressed casually, dark blue jeans paired with a white shirt, a few buttons undone at the collar, and his tousled hair still looked ridiculously good. His gaze shifted from the documents in his hands to my face, revealing just a hint of surprise before he quickly returned his attention back to the papers. Miss Brown, hello, he said in a flat tone, devoid of any emotion whatsoever. Hello? That's it? Are you serious? How come you're here? What do you think? He sighed and forced a smile. This absolutely can't be your seat. Oh, but it really is my seat, she said. Just as I was about to retort, after all, it'd be downright crazy if he thought I'd sit next to him, a female voice suddenly broke in behind me. Excuse me, ma'am, is there a problem? The flight attendant stepped up to me and asked. Yes, this gentleman is sitting in the wrong seat, I replied, gesturing for her to look over at Mr. Morgan. He shook his head, a sly smirk playing on his lips. She's my ex-girlfriend, you know how it is. We didn't break up exactly on good terms. He flashed the flight attendant a deliberately charming, ingratiating smile. Oh my God. What a jerk. He's trying to make me look like the crazy one, isn't he? Ma'am, could you please take your seat as soon as possible? We're about to begin boarding. The flight attendant said firmly. Are there really no other seats available? I insisted. Come on, just sit down. You're already drawing everyone's attention, Mr. Morgan said. I glanced around and sure enough, I saw curious and impatient faces all staring at me. Great. Now everyone's hating me for delaying the flight. Madam, could you please? The flight attendant gave me a stern look. Damn it. All right, I conceded, realizing I'd have to squeeze past him to get to the window seat, a real ordeal. But I wasn't going to let him win, not even for a second. I wouldn't give him the chance to see my back. He'd definitely be gloating about it. Excuse me, I muttered through clenched teeth, hefting up my carry-on bag and carefully sliding it between his legs, making every effort not to touch him along the way. I shoved my bag under the front seat, finally managed to sit down, fastened my seatbelt, and let out a long sigh before closing my eyes. I slumped into the seat, trying hard to calm the growing irritation inside me. But he was sitting right next to me. There was no way I could stay calm. Even with my eyes closed, I could still vividly feel his presence. Damn it, why did I ever think this trip would go smoothly? So, you let Zoe book the tickets for you, and you never expected things to turn out like this? He asked, and I couldn't help but open one eye to glance at him. It had been a week already. That night a week ago, he'd suggested we keep our relationship ambiguous. What a jerk. He knew perfectly well that's not what I wanted, yet he had the nerve to make such casual, careless demands. We don't need to complicate things, he'd said back then. To this day, I still can't believe he had the audacity to utter such nonsense. And now, having gone through all this, here I am sitting right next to him, yet I still can't help being drawn to him. Even though I hate him, I can't stop noticing how irresistibly tempting his lips are, and how much I long to feel the roughness of his stubble brushing against my skin. Damn it, stop gawking at this jerk. I turn my head away and stare straight ahead, deliberately avoiding his gaze. I thought even she wouldn't go so far, I say, closing my eyes once more. Deep down, I'm reminding myself, never again will I let Zoe book tickets for me. Just you wait. She'll be in for a real surprise when I get back. I never would have imagined Zoe would pull something like this, especially since she clearly knew what had happened between us that night. She knew full well I'd never accept his offer, but still, she insisted on pushing me into Morgan's arms. Looks like you're even more naive than I thought. Listen, he said. Just because I'm sitting next to you doesn't mean you're entitled to talk to me. The thought of spending an entire week with this jerk was bad enough, but now we were even stuck on the same plane, sitting side by side. Over the past week, I'd considered giving up on this trip countless times. But then I'd remind myself, why on earth should I give up our vacation with my friends just because of him? We'd been planning this trip for so long I wasn't about to let him have his way. If anyone should be the one to bail out, it's him. So you're planning to ignore me for the next 7 hours? He asked. That's right, I replied, still keeping my eyes closed and refusing to look at him. Oh, really? I bet when you're lying alone in bed tonight, you will find it so easy to ignore me. Damn him. He was right, this past week had been pure torture for me, my mind consumed by longing, memories, and dreams of him. But there's no way he could possibly know any of this, so I might as well just keep pretending. Go ahead and delude yourself, he said. You're doing the same thing, keep on pretending. No one likes an arrogant jerk, I shot back. Is that right? I remember perfectly well. It was you who took the initiative and knocked on this jerk's door in the first place. His words made my eyes widen with fury, and my temper flared up in an instant. You're nothing but a fool, thinking you can afford to be so arrogant just because you've got a little bit of clout. He leaned back in his seat, a cocky smirk curling at the corner of his lips. I like it when you say I've got some clout. Damn him. My cheeks instantly flushed hot, and I quickly turned my head away. Leaning back against the seat, I resolved firmly not to say another word to him for the rest of the flight. How on earth could I possibly be attracted to someone like him, so arrogant and such a jerk? Probably all men who think they've got capital are just like that, believing the whole world should revolve around them. I've always felt that people of this sort tend to be even more arrogant and self-confident, and confident men always seem to attract me more easily. So, generally speaking, what's called capital often just means a cocky jerk. Take Mr. Morgan, for instance. I don't know how I managed to get through that entire flight without losing my temper, but surprisingly, for the rest of the trip, I really didn't say a single word to Mr. Morgan, nor did I utter a single harsh remark about him. Even though several times I felt his gaze fixed on me and could sense exactly what he was trying to say, in the end, he didn't do a thing. For the remainder of the journey, he behaved with unusual coldness. After we landed, I noticed he'd even deliberately kept himself at a greater distance from me. After driving for a few more hours, we finally arrived at the country villa Zoe had rented near the town of Beaune in Burgundy. This place is even more charming and bigger than I'd imagined. I can't help but feel thrilled inside. How on earth could I have ever thought of giving up this place just because of Morgan? The castle-style villa is beautifully crafted, Its gray stone walls paired with white French windows give it the look of a little castle. This spot in France feels especially warm and welcoming, and we're planning to visit wineries, explore castles, and savor some of the finest wines out there. The more I think about it, the more excited I become. Zoe says this region boasts some of the world's best Chardonnay and Pinot Noir wines, and I can't wait to indulge in them, relax, and really unwind. Just thinking about it makes me feel so much lighter already. Our host is a middle-aged or older French gentleman who speaks English with a strong accent. After showing us around the villa, he was about to leave, but when I discovered a swimming pool and a small lake at the back of the villa, I was absolutely delighted. Surrounded by fields and forests, this place truly feels like paradise on earth. We're all gathered in the living room, getting ready to pack our bags and choose our rooms. Anna's brother, Jason, has arrived, along with his girlfriend, Philippa, and Jack's brother, Neil, who's here with his girlfriend, Rosie. As soon as I catch sight of Jason, I can't help but think back to that drunken night a few years ago, the mistake I made. To this day, I still can't forgive myself for what happened, getting involved with my best friend's older brother after I'd had too much to drink. Although Anna wasn't really upset at the time, I'd rather just pretend it never happened, blaming it all on the alcohol, blaming the alcohol for making that whole affair seem so utterly absurd. But every time I see him with Philippa, I can't help but wonder, if only I'd accepted Jason's date invitation back then, would the person standing by his side right now be me? Still, they really do seem like a perfect match, and that makes me genuinely happy for them, so I quickly brushed that thought aside. After everyone hugged and greeted each other, they turned their attention back to the luggage. It was then that I suddenly remembered something Mr. Beecham had said during our tour of the villa. Wait a minute, maybe I'm mistaken, but I think I heard Mr. Beecham mention that there were only 6 rooms here. Everyone stopped what they were doing and looked at me. No way. I distinctly told him we needed 7 rooms, Zoe said. But considering she'd even managed to arrange for Ethan and me to sit together on the flight, I simply couldn't trust her at all. Hold on, I'll go take a look, Will said, heading upstairs. I couldn't help but scan the room for Mr. Morgan's figure, but he didn't seem worried in the slightest, creating a stark contrast with how I felt. He noticed my gaze, which only made me angrier. Zoe must have planned this on purpose. I turned my gaze toward Zoe and saw Bennett giving her a disapproving look. Damn it, that could only mean one thing. She really had done it on purpose. A minute later, Will came downstairs, looking rather grim, confirming my suspicion. It seems there's been a bit of a mix-up, he said, stopping on the last step. You're kidding, right? I roared at Zoe, seething with rage. Ellie, Anna stepped forward, trying to calm me down. No, I'm not going to let her think she can get away with anything. Wasn't sitting next to him on the plane bad enough already? Come on, it was just a coincidence, and Mr. Beecham probably didn't hear me clearly when I asked for 7 rooms. Zoe tried to defend herself. Do you really think anyone here would believe you? I'm telling the truth. Screw you, Zoe. Calm down, Ellie. We'll figure something out, Will tried to reassure me. Don't get worked up, Brown. I'll just sleep on the sofa. Ethan leaned against the door frame, arms crossed, looking completely nonchalant. No way. Don't be ridiculous. She's the one who should be sleeping on the sofa. There's no need for us to foot the bill for her mistake. We'll sort this out, okay? Anna said, gripping my shoulder. 10 minutes later, we finally got hold of Mr. Beecham. He said he could add a single bed the next morning, but for now, the problem of insufficient rooms remained unresolved. Although all the sisters offered to share a room with me so Ethan could squeeze in with the other guys, I didn't want to be so selfish as to break up couples. The worst part is, I can't even blame Morgan, it's not his fault at all. Thanks, girls, but no thanks. I can share a room with Mr. Morgan, we can share the bathroom and storage space. But you'll have to sleep on the sofa, I said, pointing at him, who was sitting on another sofa. No problem, he replied simply. Ellie, are you sure? Anna asked, sounding worried. I nodded. Great. Can we start packing then? Zoe asked. If looks could kill, she'd be dead 1,000 times over by now. I sighed, slumped onto the sofa, closed my eyes, and tried hard to push down the frustration and stress weighing on my heart. The others got up, grabbed their bags, and headed upstairs. Things really couldn't get any worse. When I opened my eyes again, it turned out we were the only ones left in the living room. He was still sitting on the sofa, looking at me. I stood up, ready to carry my things upstairs. I could try to keep pretending he didn't exist. But what was I fooling myself about? Not only would we be staying in the same house for a week, but we'd also be sharing a room. How could I possibly ignore him? "You don't have to be afraid, Miss Brown," he said as I turned to leave. "I wouldn't dream of offending you." "Oh, really?" I couldn't help teasing him. The whole situation was just too absurd, and I found myself laughing instead. "You probably think I'm an asshole, but I'd never disrespect your decision," he said firmly, and my smile froze instantly.